series on Insights with Stella, and it's another fresh episode, another fresh series on family finance. Today, I want to begin by asking every couple this question. Have you ever sat down at the end of the month and wondered, where did the money go? Salaries came in, sales came in from the business, and a few bills were paid. Children's needs were met, a few transfers here and there were made, and suddenly the account balance is not looking like the money or the income that came in. Not as if anyone bought a house, not as if anyone bought a car, not as if there was a major project or an emergency, yet the money is gone. And then the tension begins. One partner is asking questions, the other one becomes defensive, suspicion comes in, argument begin, the blame game starts. Can I tell you something? Many families are not suffering because of one big financial disaster. They are suffering because of small financial leaks nobody is paying attention to. Today's topic is about those leaks. If this is your first time on Insights with Stella, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on your notification button, because it is always a mind shift and educative session on this channel every week. Now, as we proceed, I want to expose two aspects that precede financial leaks in the family, and listen very carefully. One, we have the expenses that don't look dangerous. When it comes to rent, you plan for rent, you plan for school fees, you plan for major projects, you even plan for emergencies. Those are visible, they are not the problem. Do you know the problem? The invisible ones, those are the main problem. What are those invisible ones? Those daily little takeouts, those online purchases you see and you just click on order, those transfers you make without discussion, those it doesn't matter, they are little. Then those subscriptions nobody remembers. Do you know why it is dangerous? Individually they look insignificant, but collectively they become dangerous. Now, when it comes to family finance, listen to me, it is not one major hole that sinks the ship. It is those little holes. And because they seem insignificant, they seem harmless, it is not treated as a problem. But those are the real problems. There was a day I was just scrolling through my phone, because I have a way of tracking what I spend as domestic expenses, and I saw that subscription was just taking so much. There are some subscriptions that are just inactive, invalid, dormant, yet money was going through. And at the time I put together what was going into those subscriptions on my phone, they were significant. You don't need to know what happened. I had to unsubscribe as much as I could and ensure that I'm only subscribing for what is actually important to me. Those are the little problems, the little holes here and there. As a couple, let me ask you, can you account for 90% of your spending in the last 7 days? If your answer is no, it means you already have a visibility problem. Next, it may interest you to know that as a family, you don't only lose money by spending. Yes, you can lose money through lack of awareness. See, one principle I've come to observe both as an accountant and a financial manager is this: money behaves differently when it is monitored. People become more intentional when spending is tracked, but they become careless when it is not. Many families know what they earn, but they don't know what they spend. They don't know what their spending pattern is. And according to Peter Drucker, what cannot be measured cannot be managed. For you listening to me, your family problem may not be income, but monitoring. Now, let me ask you this question. Can you say for certain what goes into the expense heads in your family? I mean, what you spend on feeding, what you spend on transportation, what you spend on subscription, what you spend on school runs. Can you really say? If you cannot, that means you need to sit tight with me on this series, because financial progress requires visibility and intentionality. Listen to me carefully. Before you can handle or before you can manage family finances effectively, you will need to address financial leaks. What are financial leaks? You may be asking. Financial leak is any recurring habits, decision, behavior, or expense that quietly drains resources and weaken financial progress. I'll take that again. Financial leaks are recurring habits, decisions, behavior, or expense that quietly drains resources. Mark the word, quietly drains resources and slows financial progress. Hold on, I'll be exposing some of these financial leaks nobody talks about. The first I want to talk about are emotional financial pattern. This is one of the most dangerous financial leaks. Do you know why? You plan for fees, you plan for rent, you plan for projects, you plan for even emergency. But when it comes to emotional financial patterns, they don't announce themselves. Why? Because emotional financial patterns, they are based on feelings, not on what is logically most reasonable. When you are happy, you tend to have a pattern of spending. When you are frustrated, you tend to have a pattern of financial spending. And most times it's just sporadic. They are not planned for. Financial leaks don't start in the pocket. They actually begin in the mind. How does this play out? Number one is stress spending. What do you mean by stress spending? You've had a busy day at work, maybe because of work pressure and all of that. They begin to weigh on the mind. You feel overwhelmed and you are looking for relief. And for you, the way to relieve yourself is to walk into a gadget store. You just pick up one gadget, or you go to the boutique, pick up one cloth, or you just treat yourself to a sumptuous meal. You see, it feels justified, right? It looks like a reward system after all. But do you know the danger in it? Spending becomes your coping mechanism when you are under stress. So the more you stress, or the more stress increases, the more you're spending. And you know what? You have created financial leaks in your family through emotional exhaustion. Then another critical aspect is appearance spending. This is spending because you want to maintain an image, not necessarily out of needs. You see families spending what they don't have because they want to impress, they want to keep up with status. In fact, I remember a very pathetic case of a couple who were actually struggling to pay their rent. They had to go take a loan. But can you guess what happened? The wife spent more than even the loan they took for their rent on school reunion party. Listen to me very carefully. Appearance is always very expensive to maintain. This is why wise families focus more on financial health much more than financial appearance. Note this, emotional patterns always come with consequences that outlive the emotions that triggered them. Now, because you are stressed, you went on sporadic spending, the stress will die down, anxiety will fade, frustration will end, but then the financial implication of the spending you have embarked on will remain. This is why mature financial management requires emotional awareness, because if you don't control your emotions will start controlling your money, and then you will never stop asking the question, where did the money go? Another dangerous leak is silence. Yes, that sounds surprising, right? Silence. Many people think that financial leaks only happen when money leaves the account. But in reality, the greatest leaks occur from those discussions that never happened. Remember, financial leak is anything that quietly drains resources and weakens financial progress. That is exactly what silence does, and I'll show you how. Firstly, silence allows bad habits to continue. Yes, one partner engages in reckless spending, unaccountable for finances, the other notices and just ignore. Nobody is saying anything. The habits continue, and then the family will be wondering, why are we not making financial progress, or why is financial progress slow? Silence has permitted recklessness, and it is not just the reckless spending that is the leak, it is the silence that empowered the recklessness to continue that is also a leak. How else does silence act as a financial leak in family finance? Silence creates financial blind spots. Many families know what they earn, but collectively they don't know what their spending pattern is. Why? Because nobody is having the conversation. Nobody is reviewing expenses. Nobody is discussing priorities. Nobody's evaluating financial goals. And how can you make progress where all of these are not being evaluated? What is supposed to be discussed is not discussed. You can't make financial progress as a family. How again does silence promote financial leaks? Silence prevents alignment. Yes, money follows priorities, but when couples don't discuss, priorities cannot be aligned. One may be thinking about school fees, another will be thinking about business investments, or someone is thinking about a house project. I remember some years ago in my own family, we were expecting our second baby, and I was obsessed, this motherly feeling of a new baby coming in, and all what I was thinking about then was how to change the settee in our living room and do 1 or 2 renovations. And I was already discussing with my husband on what to do. I told him the one I've seen, the one I love, beautiful, we'll go for it. He said fine. When I was thinking about that, there was an ongoing project. Then one day as we went to the project site, I saw a lot of progress on the site, and he took me to a corner and told me to sit down. I sat down on the German floor that has been made. And when we were talking, he said, how do you see this floor? I said, fantastic, fine, well done. He said, you see that settee you're talking about? This is it. You are sitting on it. This is more comfortable than any other setting you would need or that would have put in that house, because you can't be thinking about comfort in somebody else's house when you have yours ongoing. Wow, that was mind-opening. And immediately I realigned my thinking. I realigned my priority. Without communication, do you know what happens? Everybody is moving, but in different directions. So that is the issue with silence and how it affects alignment. If you want to make financial progress as a couple, you don't discuss money only when there is crisis, when funds are short, when bills are overdue, or when debt becomes uncomfortable. Healthy financial communication should happen before, not after crisis. Silence is a financial leak because it allows wastes, misunderstandings, poor habits, and misalignments to continue unchecked. I know the question on your mind now is, how do I handle financial leaks? In the next episode, I'll be showing you 7 practical ways you can handle financial leaks in your family finance that you can implement in the next 30 days. You don't want to miss it. This is Impart Series on Insights with Stella. If you have not, please subscribe to my YouTube channel for mind shift and transformational sessions every week. Till I see you again, where we shall be delving into practical ways of handling financial leaks. Remain intentional.